Hey friends, I've got a little story for you today. It's about a time that I fell down and it took me a while to get back up. And then when I did get back up, it resulted in this. Give me a sec. Oh my God. Who knew legs were so heavy? Eee, those are my toesies. Yeah, that happened. And before you even ask, before you even begin to type the words, yes, it was from roller skating. Of course it was from roller skating. Now listen, I am the biggest advocate for falling down. I think it's great to just like fail fast, make your mistakes, and then you've got time to rectify, you've got time to get back up. Rather than being one of these people who's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not gonna go for it, I'm not sure, I'm too scared. I'm like, babe, just go for it. And if you fall, you fall. And I always say, what's the worst that can happen? You'll fall down and then you'll get back up. And then on Friday, it was like the hottest day of the year. I don't know if it was 34, 36, whatever degrees it was just hot. And when you're in London, it's a different kind of hot. It's like sweaty, sticky hot. And it was like 9 in the morning. I said to my housemate, please, can we go for a roller skate? Please, please, please. She said, yeah, sure, let's go to the basketball court where we normally go. I said, no, I really want to go to Finsbury Park. Like, I want to go somewhere different. Okay, cool. We cycled to Finsbury Park and there's really wide, long paths that you can go down. And it's like slightly downhill, so it's like a little bit scary. We've not really done that before, but I was like, this is good. We've done the basketball court. We do the basketball court all the time. So we're going down, it's all good. I'm going backwards, it's all good. Sometimes I trip, sometimes I stumble. It's okay, I get back up, we keep going. It's all good. And then we went on over to the bowl, you know, where people are like, whoa, ramps, flips, tricks, all of them things there. And I was like, fuck it, let's give it a go. I've been watching tutorials, I know what to do, bending my knees, going down slowly, and it was fine. I was going like up and down these little ramps, chilling, living my best life really. And then I decided it's time for me to go. I was like, we're done, we were gonna leave. And at this point, I'd kind of mentioned to my friend I felt quite weak and quite faint. Sometimes I get it, you know, when you're just a bit lightheaded or like it kind of waves over you and you just feel like not good. And I don't know whether it's because I've not been eating that much or I just do a lot of exercise. Like already that morning I'd done a 40-minute workout, then we'd cycled and then we'd roller skated and it was really hot and I'd not had that much water. So I already was feeling a bit like, oh, I don't feel good. So I went to get out of the bowl and I just lost my footing. My feet just went and I just went smack down to the floor. And I was like, it's okay, I fall all the time. But this time I heard crack, crack. And I heard it crack, crack, straight from the ankle. I heard it. And I was like, guys, I heard it. So people rushed over, took my boots off, got me out. And I just was there like, what do I do? What do I do? I couldn't really get myself up because when I did get up and I hopped along holding on to my friend, I could feel my foot like moving each time that I hopped. So I'd hop on my left leg and my right foot would boom, boom, boom. I was like, this doesn't feel good. This isn't nice. And all the while, you know, people try and reassure you, like, maybe it's a sprain, you know, it's a sprain, maybe it's a bruise. But when you've heard crack, crack, you're like, So the thing is, where this part is of the park, it's like at least 200 meters to get across the park to get to the main road. And I was thinking, okay, I need to get in an Uber or something because I need to get home. I need to put ice on it. So I crawled along the park. Meanwhile, I was wearing see-through shorts and a little bra, and I had like a bikini bottom on because it was a boiling day and it was early in the morning and I thought we were just gonna skate, go there and then go home. So I'm crawling through the park and people are asking me like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm good, I'm fine. I'm just out of my daily crawl, you know how it is. And there's like sweat coming down my face and my foot is like throbbing. Got myself home and that's when we looked at the ankle and it's like it had grown another ankle. Now DM me if you want to see a photo of a swollen ankle. If you have a fetish for that or you're interested, like please actually DM me because I find it fascinating. Maybe you're a medical student or maybe you just really like injuries, but I'm not going to put it here because some people will be grossed out. But my ankle had grown another ankle. So now I had 3 ankles in total and I had ice and stuff on it. So I was on the phone to 111 and I was like, just tell me what hospital should I go to? Like, where's the least busy? And I will just get myself there. So they told me to go to Whittington in Islington. And they was like, yeah, just go straight to A&E. Luckily, in our house, we were already equipped with crutches because honestly, our house holds everything you could ever imagine. So thankfully we already had some. Hobbled over, went to A&E, and it's just weird because you kind of forget we're still kind of in the midst of this pandemic. So I put my mask on, everyone else has got masks on, and normally you would go to the receptionist and like give them your information or talk to them, but they're like behind a screen and you have to hold up your information to the screen whilst they like tap it out, and I'm there with my third ankle and it was so hot and I had a bag of like frozen corn in my hand and I still had my see-through shorts on. Luckily I actually got seen to really quickly. I went and had an x-ray and they were like, yeah, it's definitely fractured. And not only did I have one fracture, I had 2 fractures. So my tibia, gone, fibula, gone, and they were both quite bad breaks. And they sat me down and they were like, listen, your foot's gonna be in a cast and you might have to have surgery and you're not gonna be able to walk on it for like quite a while. And they were like, oh, I know this is a lot of information to take at one go, but how are you feeling? And honestly, I'd been listening to meditations all morning. So I've been listening to people being like, just breathe and like, it's all good, take in the good energy and let out the bad energy. And I was specifically listening to like healing meditations. So at this point I was like, guys, this is your job. Do what you have to do. I am just the mere patient. I was like, I will sit back and take any direction, any instructions. You do what you've got to do. I'll do what I've got to do. Like, I'm good, honey. It's cool. And they were like, are you sure you're okay? And at this point, I'd had no painkillers. I'd had nothing. I just had a throbbing third ankle. But I was just there like, it's fine. Let me just cancel my plans for the day. So I was texting my friends like, yeah, I'm not going to see you. I know we were going to see each other. I'm not going to see you today, so I've got a third ankle to deal with. And it was all fine. And bearing in mind, you can't have any visitors because COVID. So there I was just chilling on my own, listening to meditations, just trying to take myself to a good place. And then they told me, okay, your surgery is booked in for tomorrow. I was like, cool, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like, off I go. They're like, no, you'll be staying overnight. I was like, oh, I don't have my toothbrush, but fine, if you want me to stay. I was like, it's a sleepover, great. Luckily I've got really lovely housemates who came over on a motorbike, zoomed over, dropped off an overnight bag for me, and off I went to the ward. Now I get to the ward, right? The person who was in my bed before me, who'd just left, was called Mary. The person next to me was called Mary. Then the person opposite me was not called Mary, but she was screaming out saying, Mary, Mary, help me. She's Caribbean. So she obviously, and maybe she has a carer at home called Mary. That's the name she's used to like screaming out. And then the ward is called the Mary Seacole ward. All the Marys had come together. What a momentous day. So I was like, this is fabulous. Let me take in all of the positives. And I was just there like writing a list down in my notebook of like all the wonderful things that were happening. I was like, number one, this hospital is air conditioned to fuck. It is so cool. You know, it's 36 degrees outside. And I was like, I'm chilling. Free food. Not that I could eat any of it because I'm vegan and hospitals aren't quite there yet. But I managed to get some like peaches and a clementine. And at one point I actually got some crackers. So free food. It's like having room service because you touch the button and someone comes running. I had fluids being pumped into my veins, so I didn't have to worry too much about drinking water. That's always convenient. I got this free bracelet, which is really cool. I don't know why I've not taken that off yet. It's like a souvenir, isn't it? Oh, I was actually gonna wax my legs on that Friday, but they put the cast on. So now when I do go to wax my legs, I'll only have to do the left leg. So that saves money on wax strips. So that's good. So I was just there thinking of all the positives and I was like, this is cool. And you know what? The weirdest thing about it is that I felt fine. Like I was in pain, but I just felt like what's happened has happened. I can't change it. I can't be bitter about it. And then you go to tell everyone because I'm like, lol, texting my friends like, guys, guess what happened? Like, guys, do you want to see my third ankle? Or like, guys, can you friggin' believe it? And that's when you just get like an influx of messages and support and people being like, oh my gosh, I hope you're okay, and sending love and sending support and like, can I do anything to help? And it is so lovely. But sometimes that actually makes you feel like it's a bigger deal than it is, because in my head I was like, oh, I'm just like having a sleepover at the hospital, like, and I've like got my mask on and all the nurses have got their masks on, so we're all just communicating through like eye contact and they're like, you okay? And I'm like, I'm okay, everything's fine. But then when you get messages like, oh my God, you poor thing. And it is exactly how I would react. Like, if I was on the other side, it's exactly how I would react. But sometimes when you're there, you're like, oh, I'm actually fine. And I just had to keep saying to people, I'm actually fine. Don't worry about it. So the next day, I discussed with the surgeons, and it's the day of the surgery, and what they're going to do is put a plate and some screws into one bone, and then the other bone's going to have a wire to hold it all together because things were flopping about. So the surgeon comes to discuss your options, and that's when I kind of got a bit upset because they were like, you can have anaesthetic, or you can have an epidural, or blah, blah, blah. And I just freaked out because I've only had anaesthetic once before in my life, and actually I was having a procedure and I woke up halfway through. Oh, and it was so traumatic. I woke up halfway through, I had tubes down my throat and I was screaming, and they said, if you scream, then it like puts pressure on this tube and it like damages your throat. And so I was like rattling and shaking the bed, and I was like, get me out of it. And they had to get like 5 nurses to come and like hold me down. And then afterwards they had a go at me and my mum and said how I was like uncontrollable and I was like in this rage, when in actual fact I'd just woken up halfway through not knowing what the fuck was going on, thought I was in a horror movie, thought someone was trying to kill me, and I panicked. But then they obviously have to tell you the risks of if they put a bloody injection into your spine, like, oh, you know, you could have nerve damage, or, you know, something could happen, or like something could happen to your foot, something could happen to your back. And then immediately you just think like, bitch, I don't want to be paralyzed. Like, I'm scared. And there's no one with you. Normally, like, you might have your mum with you or your friend with you, and you'd be like, oh, what do you think I should do? But you look around. Firstly, I'm just surrounded by Marys, but you just look around and there's like, no one can tell you what to do. You're the only one that knows the right thing to do. So I decided to have the epidural, which basically numbs you from the waist down, so you can't feel a thing, but you stay awake during the surgery. So I was like, cool, can I take my phone in, put my headphones on, listen to a podcast, and I'll close my eyes and it'll be chill? They're like, yeah, sure. I asked this 3 times to 3 different people. They all said, yeah, sure, that's fine. Tell me why. Then I get wheeled into the surgery. They're like, oh, mate, you gotta leave your phone behind. I was like, no. I'm not getting sedated, so I'm taking my phone. I was like, I cannot do this and have noises. I can't, like, what? I'm gonna hear you like drilling into my ankle. No. So I started crying again, and I think they just saw I was very distressed, and they were just like, fine, you can have your phone. I was like, okay, thank you. So I get into the surgery, feels like I'm in a movie. So I put the Scott and Chris podcast on my headphones, closed my eyes, and I think they did sedate me a little bit because I drifted off. And then before I knew it, they were waking me up and they're like, Mary, well done. You did it. You did so well. And you know what I love is these surgeons give you compliment after compliment. They told me I was the best patient they'd had in surgery all day. I think I might have only been the second, but they said I was the best. They say that I have fantastic veins, and I actually do have really good, like, prominent veins. My blood pressure was fantastic, and I get told this a lot. They're like, you're super fit, you've got amazing, you know, your blood pressure is like, well done. And then they kept saying you're gonna have such a speedy recovery because you're so young and fit and healthy. And I'm like, give me more compliments. I like it. I'm a Leo. Like, just shower me with praise. So I went through, obviously have another cast on, and I feel a bit like, woo, having fun after that. I guess the drugs. I was then thinking like, okay guys, I'm gonna pack my bags, like off I go, I'm ready to go home. And they said, no, like, I think you might have to stay another night. So I stayed another night in hospital, fine, woke up at 2 a.m. All the feeling had come back to my ankle and suddenly I was in unimaginable pain. So I got some morphine, and then they were just drugging me up with all these different things throughout the night. And then the next morning they were like, maybe one more night in hospital. I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of ready to go. Like, I'm good. And I'd already like packed my bag, so I was just sitting there like, discharge me. And the physios came and saw me, practiced on the crutches, like went up and down the stairs, did some twists, did some tricks, and they were like, we're happy for you to go. They gave me a sheet where I can hire out a wheelchair, and I was like, I'm ready. I'm so ready. So they stuck me in another chair, wheeled me out of the building, and luckily my sister came to pick me up. Went back to my warehouse, picked up some bits, and then she brought me back to my parents' house because I need people to cook for me. I need some help washing. I just need general love, care, and attention. And so that's where we're at now. I know that's a long ass story just to tell you that I basically was dumb and tripped up, but it's given me a whole new perspective. Like, I am the most active person I know. I freaking love exercise. I love teaching fitness. I love cycling. I love being on my roller skates. I love just doing all of these things and running around London just having fun. And now it's like the height of summer. Lockdown is kind of easing up. It's my birthday next week, and all of these things where in my head I could be thinking like, oh, this is crap, like this is bad timing. I'm not gonna be able to walk for at least 6 weeks. I can't exercise for 4 months, and that's also a stream of income for me. So there's lots of reasons for me to be scared and to be annoyed at the situation. But to be honest, it's that feeling that I have that when I put my headphones on and I either listen to a meditation or I listen to a podcast that I like, that I'm like, listen, everything's okay. Like, things could be so much worse. Everyone has these accidents at some point in life. I'm actually surprised I've not done this sooner. I'm surprised this is the first bone that I've broken, and now it just so happens to be 2. But do you know what I mean? And I know I like to make everything into a bloody moral and into a lesson, and I know sometimes it must be annoying, but in all honesty, I just had to stick to my guns of saying, it's okay, everything's okay. And even with the nurses saying, oh, like, oh, are you gonna, oh. I just had to really dig deep and find these positives and find that happy place and find that moment of calm and think, yeah, I've got a cast on. Okay, what colour are we gonna paint it? Yeah, I've got crutches that I now have to use for ages. Okay, how am I gonna decorate them? Like, what am I gonna do to make this work for me? How am I gonna find the positives? How am I gonna still achieve the things that I want to achieve just with a little hindrance of like hobbling along? Like, it's not gonna stop me, is it? And if that helps anybody today, then it was all worth it. Yay! Ow, 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 ow. Okay, bye.